स्वाध्याय टीवी। डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar. I, Dr. Himanshu Patel, welcomes you all from the Chaitanya studio of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University on Mobile Application Development Lecture Series on session 6th. In last session, we have discussed user interface overview, layouts, input controls and input event. We know that user interface is mainly consist of two class or represented by two class called view and view group. View are normal controls, while view group is a class that represent a class which is used to group other controls or views. Every control is represented by view and every layout is represented by view group. So, we discussed this view and view group. We also discussed layouts, how to arrange control on your user interface. We discussed common layouts such as linear layout, relative layout and web view. We also discussed some of the layout which is used to fill dynamic data such as grid view and list view, and we discussed common input controls, or we have overview of common controls which is used to build your user interface, and we also discuss what is event and how to handle this event. So, in today's session we discuss event listener which is used to handle event for your controls, and we discuss two input control, button control and text field in detail, so that you will get more idea about these two important controls. So, let us start with event listeners. So, event listener is an interface in the view class that contains a single callback method. We know that interface is a special class in which all methods are unimplemented. For example, button extends view class, and inside view class there is a one interface which is used to handle click event. So, every interface defines one or two method that you can use to handle particular event. So, event listener are interface, and inside interface there are certain methods which you must implement to handle particular event. Now, what is event? Event is a action taken by user or by a system. For example, whenever user clicks on button or types something into text field, it is considered as an event, and for each event there is an event listener, and inside event listener there are certain methods that you must implement or write down code inside that method which defines what to do when user clicks on button or when user types something into text field. So, interface is basically used to handle event. Now, these method will be called by the Android framework when the view to which the listener has been registered is triggered by user interaction with the item in the user interface. For example, as I mentioned earlier, when you click on button, there is a on click listener associated with click event. So, Android framework automatically called this listener, and inside that listener there is a one method which is automatically called when user clicks on this button, and inside that method we write down code to handle button click event. So, this is what is all about event listener is. Now, let us look at most common listener methods. For example, first method is a on click method, and listener associated with on click is on click listener. Normally there is a word listener after method. So, for on click there is a on click listener, and as we mentioned earlier, these methods are part of view class. So, it is a abstract method that you must implement to handle click event. Now, when this on click method is called, so whenever user either touches the item when it is in touch screen mode or focuses upon the item with the navigation key or trackball and presses the suitable enter key or press down the trackball. So, on click method is normally called when you touch particular item. For example, when you touch button, it also called click method. Next is a on long click. This is also known as a tapping or long tap. So, for on long click method, associated listener is on long click listener, and this is called when user either touches and hold the item. For example, if I press button for a long time, then this method is called. So, on long click, as its name suggests, is called whenever user presses button for the long time. Next is on focus change, and associated listener is on focus change listener. Now, when the user navigates on to or away from the item using the navigation key or trackball. For example, if I am leaving text field and enter into another text field, then this on focus change event is called for both the text field. One for losing focus and another for getting focus. So, you can define method or how to handle this focus change method, you can define inside this on focus change method. Next is a on key, and associated listener is on key listener. It is very easy to remember this method and its listener, because it normally suggests what user take action. For example, key means typing, focus change means leaving or entering into control, click means click. So, it is very easy to remember this method as well as its interface and when this method is called. So, as its name suggests, key method is called when user is focused on the item and presses or releases a hardware key on the device. So, whenever user types something into edit text, it normally fires this on key event, and associated listener is on key listener. So, this is how we can handle different types of event or action taken by user and write down code at appropriate method. Next is a on touch. So, it is associated listener is on touch listener, and when it is called when the user performs an action qualified as a touch event, including a press, a release or any movement gesture on the screen with the bound of the item. So, whenever a user touch something which is inside area of your control, it is normally activates this touch event, and you can write down code inside this on touch method. And next is on create context menu. So, Android, whenever you create Android project, it by default provides you a menu with setting option. So, these on create context menu, there is associated listener called on create context menu listener, and first time you load your project, this method is called. So, these are the various types of method, associated listener, and when this method is called is specified in the screen. Now, let us look at two controls, button and text field. First we discuss button control. So, button control consists of a text or an icon or you can have both text as well as icon that communicates what action occurs when the user touches it. You can see in the screen there are 3 buttons. One is alarm button which has only text with caption alarm. Next button is only with icon, and last button has a both text and icon. So, on button you can display either icon, text or both. Now, let us look at how to display text, how to display icon and how to display both. Now, let us look at how to display button with only text. So, we write down this code inside layout file which is XML file. So, for button we have button element and first attribute is Android layout underscore width, which in which we write down wrap underscore content, which means button width is according to its caption. Then we write down Android colon layout underscore height, which is second attribute, and inside that we also write down wrap underscore content. So, your button size is proportional to your caption size. Now, third is most important part, which is Android colon text. Here we write down @string / button underscore text. Now, these @ indicates a resource. So, we have string resource and we have a resource name is button underscore text. So, whatever you define in button underscore text resource as a string will be displayed as a caption. So, in this case it may be alarm. Button underscore text is a name of resource, but the value may be alarm. So, that is we define inside string dot XML file. So, later on we see how to write down these resource string resource, but you can also write down hard coded string, means in double quotes you can write down alarm and not @string / button underscore text. So, this is how you can also display text. Next we look how to display icon. So, here we use image button element. So, image button element is used to display button with image. We already discussed first 2 attributes. So, we are skipping that and we directly see the third element, which is Android colon src. So, third attribute specifies that again @drawable is the resource of type image and button underscore icon is the name of your icon file. So, these file should be in drawable folder that we have already discussed in project structure. So, you have to place your icon file inside drawable folder and from that you can fetch your icon in button caption. So, this is how you can display button icon. Next we see how to display both icon and text. So, here again we use button element. First 2 are already explained, third is also explained, but now in this case we use Android colon drawable left. So, these element actually specifies or used when we want to display text as well as icon. So, here we specify icon to be displayed on the left side of the text. So, here we write down Android colon drawable left. So, this is how we can create button into XML file. You can also drag button directly onto your user interface and Android will write down code for you, but as a programmer we should know each and every XML element and attributes. So, this is how we can create button. The next thing is how to handle these click event. Whenever user press click or click button, when what to do to handle this press or click event. So, for that we already discussed event listener. For that we have on click method and associated listener is on click listener. So, let us look at how to handle this button press or click event. So, when the user clicks a button, button object receives on click event, that we know. We can define click event handler for button in two ways. There are two ways associated to handle click event. One is write down your event handler inside XML file itself or XML element itself, and second, you can handle this click event programmatically. So, we look at both the ways. First way is an XML file. So, we start with that. Here you can see XML file which represents your layout. So, we already discussed this button element, ID is the name of your button. So, ID attribute is also very important. Here our button name is button underscore send. Now, last element is Android colon on click. This is a way to specify your event handler. So, here we write down send message. So, you must define this send message method inside your activity file, which is a Java file associated with this user interface, and inside this public void send message, which takes one argument called view object, you can write down code to handle button click event. For example, this button is pressed, this public void send message view is called, and inside this we do something in response to button click event. So, for example, if I want to write down button is clicked, then we have to write down code for that inside this send message method. So, this is how you can specify or define the click event handler in XML layout. You have to write down one attribute called on click, and inside that you have to specify the name of method which handles this click event. And remember, the prototype or signature for the method must be matching with the on click value, which is send message. So, it is case sensitive. So, you have to write down exactly same manner, and method should be public, return type should be void, and it must compulsory provide one object of type view as argument which represent your button. So, this is how you can specify event handler for click event inside XML file. The next is a to handle this click event programmatically. Now, let us look at how to write down this. So, here you have to take reference of button define in layout file. Now, this code must be write down inside your activity file, and to be specific inside on create method. In on create you have to write down this code. So, we create one button object which represent your button, and we called find view by ID method, and remember our ID is button underscore send. So, in previous slide you see this value button underscore send is the name of our button or ID for the button. So, we should use same ID here. So, these button object, small button object represent our that button, and we must write down button dot set on click listener, and we are creating one anonymous object here, and it will automatically write down this inside code for you, and inside on click you have to write down button click event. So, whatever you write down inside send message, you have to write down same code here inside public void on click and with view object. So, in XML file you have to specify your method name, and in activity file you have to define that method. In this case you have to take reference of your button object with specified ID, and then you have to write down this anonymous inner class for your event listeners. So, this is how you can handle button event programmatically. Next control is also important control, and it is a text field control. So, text field allows the user to type text into your app. Now, it can be either single line or multi line. Suppose you want to take name, it may be single line. Suppose you want to take address, it may be a multi line. Touching a text field may place the cursor and automatically displays the keyboard. So, whenever you get focus into your text field, it will automatically gives you a keyboard for typing your data. In addition to typing, text field allow for a variety of other activity such as text selection and then cut, copy and paste and data lookup via auto completion. We look at the type of text box which allows you to auto complete your entry based on either database, dictionary or array. So, it not only allows you to type into type in your data, but it also provides or may provide suggestions for auto complete your data. Now, you can see a text field which is represented by edit text object in the screen. Here when you place your cursor into 2, it will automatically display your keyboard. So, this is how you can place edit text or text field into your user interface. Now, let us look at some other uses of text field. So, how to specify the different types of keyboard. For example, if I want to type a phone number, I need not require ABCD, I just require 1, 0 to 9 and some special symbols. So, text field can have different input types such as number, date, password or email address. The type determine what kind of characters are allowed inside the field and may prompt the virtual keyboard to optimize its layout for frequently used character. Suppose if I am typing email, I always require @. So, depending on my input type, it may suggest me the type of content or virtual keyboard that suits my requirement. Next is you can specify the type of keyboard you want for your edit text object with Android : input type attributes. Now, how to specify whether I want to use email, password, single line entry, multi line entry. So, these all can be specified by one attribute called Android input type. Now, for example, if you want the user to input an email address, you should use text email address as input type. So, the name of attribute is Android : input type and value for the attribute is text email address. Now, if you can't remember all these input types, when you write down these attribute, it will also list all the available input types for you. So, you need not to bother how to remember all these names. Now, how to specify keyboard actions? Android allows you to specify an action to be made when user have completed their input. For example, suppose I am sending a mail. So, after typing all these, I should have a send button. So, depending on the or after finishing typing, it will prompt you for some action. So, the action specifies the button that appears in place of the carriage return key and action to be made such as search or send. Now, for that you can use one attribute called Android IME options. Now, what to specify inside these IME options? So, you can write down action send, then it will display send button after text field or on keyboard. If you write down action search, it will gives you option for displaying search button, or you can suppress the default behavior by using the action none action. Now, suppose I have 3 text field, first name, middle name and last name. So, whenever I focus into first name and type something, it will show me next button in my enter key or on keyboard. So, by clicking on these I can focus into a next input field. So, this is default behavior. You can suppress this default behavior by using action none value for the Android IME option. Now, suppose it displays next. Now, what to do when this button is pressed? So, this is how you can respond to action button events. So, here we create one edit text object whose ID is search, and we write down set on editor action listener. Inside that we have one method called public boolean on editor action, and argument is text view, action ID and key event, which key was pressed. So, initially we set handled variable as a false, and if action ID is send button, then we send message which may be typed in some keyboard. We write down send message method for handling message, and then we set handled to true, and if it is not send action, then we return handled, which is false. So, you can write down code for action button using this interface. You can see different types of keyboard specified by input type. So, this first is a default in text input type, another is phone input type, and last is a text email address input type. Here you can see @ sign, but in other keyboard you can't see this, and inside the phone input type you can see only digits. So, this is how you can specify input type for your text field. Now, there are other input types also. For example, if I write down text cap sentences, then normal text keyboard capitalize the first letter for each new sentence. So, likewise you can see other input types with appropriate description. So, you can go through this all the input types. Now, what to do when I want to use multiple input types? I want to use email address. For example, I want to use name of person, but each character should be capitalized. So, I specify input type as a text input, and another requirement is every word should be capitalized. So, I have to use 2 input types. So, you can use multiple input types with a pipe sign between them in value field. So, multiple input type is also can be used, and you have to separate them by pipe sign. So, this is an example that shows how to use multiple input type. Here we use postal address, but all words should be capital and there should be no suggestions for autocomplete. So, this is how you can use multiple input type. You can have autocomplete suggestions also, but for that you instead of using edit text, you have to use autocomplete text view, and value for this autocomplete may be fetch or coming from database or array. How to do this we will see later on, but right now you can understand that it is possible to have input type which is autocomplete. and value for this autocomplete may be come from the database or array. This is possible. Now, we conclude by that all user interface element in Android apps are built using view and view group objects. All controls are view, all layouts are view group. A layout defines visual structure for a user interface, such as user interface for an activity or app widget. Android provides wide variety of interactive controls, some of them we already discussed, and user interaction with control is called event, and event is handled by various event listener registered with that control. So, I hope you enjoy this session, and next we discuss more controls in detail with their event and event listener. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्याय टीवी